Good morning, everyone. Morning. If I could have your attention, we are ready to start. The gentlemen, our special guests, have been here ready and waiting for about 45 minutes now, so I'm sure they're anxious to get on with it.
We're just warming up.
I've already heard some great stories, so I think you're in for a real treat. Anyway, we welcome you to the library this morning. We're glad you're here. If you have any questions about the library or other things we offer, please feel free to ask myself. I'm Debbie, the director, or Karen at the desk. And without any other talking, I'm going to turn it over to John Trainer, who very graciously organized this event for us. And he will introduce our special guest. John?
So good morning. So these guys, I know. I'm gonna introduce them and then I'm gonna let them just start telling stories. I don't think we'll have to prompt them at all. Daryl Fernal grew up in Prospect Road. Warren Parker on Main Street.
Yep.
Alan Ferguson on Maple Street. Edson Bryan on Crescent Street. And Dave Billings on Main Street.
Hi.
And I'm gonna let Daryl kick it off because he's the oldest.
Yeah, tell everybody, huh?
You'll be all right.
Okay, my name's Daryl Fernal. I grew up on 38 Prospect Road where Becky Lipton lives now. We had a small dairy farm there. We had about seven milkers, the chickens. It was a good place to live. I started school over here in 1942, first grade. My teacher was Mrs. Kite. She had two grades, first and second. Mrs. Moran had the third and fourth.
Tough.
She was tough. Mrs. LaFay, who was tougher, had the fifth and sixth.
Principal.
Yeah, she was the principal. So anyway, I went to school during the war there. There was no tires, no gas, no nothing. And I want to tell you where the bus route was. It went down Parsonage to the Winnetoxet, took a left on Winnetoxet and came back 58. That was the southern route. And the north route was down to 106, come back down Maple Street and back up 58. So when I got through with the sixth grade, I went to Plymouth Junior High School, 7 through 9. Then Plymouth High School, 9 through 12. Graduated in 54. Some of the things I remember about Plympton is we had a baseball team. No adult supervision. We were on our own. We used to ride up during the week. One of us would ride down to Halifax, meet up with Sammy Braddock or Myron Trop, one of them guys, and arrange a game for Saturday. And there was one guy that used to keep an eye on us, tell us things, Charlie Bootman.
Charlie Boot.
Charlie Bootman. He would umpire the game, try to help us out a little bit, but as far as Little League goes or any of that, we had none of that.
None of that.
And on Old Home Day,
I want to interrupt you a minute. You know how many kids Charlie could get in his car?
yeah,
9 of us.
yeah. And it was a coupe.
Yeah, we did that. Yeah.
One other thing that stands out in my mind is Old Home Day. Old Home Day was a big tune in Plympton.
Yep.
And us young guys used to play the old timers. And we wanted to beat them bad. Every day. And Old Home Day was good. Who was the guy that used to cut the watermelon there? You lived down.
Ned Sang.
Huh?
Ned Sang.
Ned Sangus.
Yeah, Ned
Used to
Sangus.
be there at the table
Ned
cutting up
with
the
the bats.
watermelon. And we'd run by and grab a piece. And he'd have the knife and hit the racket at the table.
Used to peel onions.
You gonna tell them about getting fed doing the clam bake?
Yeah,
That's what, they always bribed us to set up the tables
Yeah.
and serve.
that's right.
And get seaweed.
Yeah, at the end of
Get seaweed,
it, they
yeah.
tell you at the end of it, after you take care of everybody real good,
Yeah.
you know, it'll be your turn to come for the bake.
Yeah.
And oh, what kind of soda do you like? Well, I said orange one day. Okay, you get one before you start and one when we're all done. So we got all done serving that day, went over and they said, oh, didn't you eat? What? No, we've been over here working. They said, oh, gee, I don't know what happened. We ran out of stuff. We couldn't even feed the committee. A awful story. Maybe next year. Oh, well, you have my soda? What, a soda? Yeah, I spoke for orange soda. Oh, gee, I'm awful sorry. I don't know who told you that. But we only had 2 or 3 sodas or something. We ran out of them. After a couple of years of that, the older guys got wise, and the younger guys got stuck doing it because we weren't smart enough to get out of there. But as I just told you, we finally learned, nah, we don't like clam bakes anymore.
We ought to tell them how we got the seaweed.
Yeah,
We used to go down to Great Beach
There you go.
in
the dump truck.
dump truck and have baskets. We'd fill up and lug that stuff, what, 100, 200 yards, wet and heavy.
Yeah.
Throw it up on the dump truck and there's a guy up there dumping it. It was unbelievable.
Not too many rules and regulations about riding in the back of a dump truck.
No.
It was a great time, though, and it was a great time for the town and
Great time for all of us.
all the people and all that stuff. And it was a fundraiser for the Grange.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the Grange was a main thing in town at the time, which
Yeah, it was.
probably a lot of people haven't even ever heard of, but
every town had a Grange Hall.
yeah.
Where
We
was
had
the
a-
Grange?
Right up here in the center of town.
Unions? Union Hall?
The Grange Hall is right on the corner of Elm Street.
Elm Street,
58.
Main Street.
They had dances
Yeah.
there too.
They
Yeah.
yes, it is.
We had a,
We all belong to the Grange.
Huh?
Every one of us belongs to the Grange.
Yeah. It was
We had a juvenile, there was a juvenile Grange for the kids, and there was a senior Grange for the adults.
Right.
And we used to have weekly meetings, remember, in the
Yep.
afternoon? Yeah, that was a
Had a
good
dance
time.
up there.
It was kind of the Grange was kind of a country thing, you know?
Yeah.
Every town had one.
Yep.
And they, like they say, they used to have dances up there Friday night, BYOB, bring your own bottle.
Yep.
And us kids used to sneak around, you know.
Bring your own bottle?
Now, we all had chores to do too, and I don't know what age everybody started. I don't even know how old I was, I don't remember.
Yeah.
Just seemed like it was forever.
Yeah.
Where every morning, before we went to school, you had the chores closed, you go down and
Milk the
when they
cow.
got you up, you get up real early and
Milk
you
the
had the
cow.
animals to take care of.
Yeah.
And feed and water all the animals, then you'd come in and get rid of those clothes and have breakfast, and then your school clothes and go off to school. And didn't matter whether it was snowing, raining, didn't matter what was going on. I mean, the animals were out there. We all had animals because in those days everybody,
Yep.
raised their own and had big gardens. So if the snow, I can remember as a young kid with 2 buckets of water, headed out back to the barns or sheds, and snow up to like almost your knees, pitch black, of course, the middle of winter. You want to see somebody unhappy. And then one morning I go out there, and I got about halfway. Of course, you're always half asleep. We were just kids, and I'm talking about grade school age kids. I don't mean high school. And all of a sudden, this awful racket, and it woke me. I stopped and I listened. And comes this racket again. Hoo, hoo, hoo. I dropped the buckets and headed for the house. I didn't know who was out there or what was going on, but I know they didn't need me out there. So I big feet into the house and told my father and mother. Father wasn't too happy. He said he knew, so he went out with me. And sure enough, there's an owl that's taken up out in the woods out there. And I swear, every morning for about 2 weeks after that, as soon as that owl saw me halfway to those barns, he'd start going. And even though my father told me it was an owl, it was still pretty, I wasn't very happy about it.
Anyway,
Yeah, go ahead.
getting back to me.
Oh. Well, you're the oldest and you got the most money, so go ahead.
You done?
Yeah.
Okay. I see you got first jobs down here. My first job was weeding on the cranberry bog for
Yeah.
David's uncle, Louis Billings. And
Tough guy.
there was a man that lived down there in a shack on the bog. He kind of kept an eye on the place. His name was Jesse Johnson. And his mother was a full-blooded Indian. 'Cause he had a picture on the
Picture, I
wall
can
down
still
there,
remember
beautiful
it.
picture. And anyway, Jesse was in charge there, and Charlie Leach would be weeding there.
Charlie Leach.
And Jesse, Cicero that had the fish we found down
You
there.
forgot one.
Uh,
Porter.
Oh, gee, he didn't weed, he scooped. He scooped berries, he didn't weed.
He made more money scooping.
Yeah. Yeah, but he had a great big alarm clock in his pocket, big one like that, and at noontime it
Yep.
would ring, you know? So, but anyway, that was my first job. And let me see, I got, when I was 16, I got a 39 Chevy, four-door 39 Chevy. And that's when I was working at Winthrop Atkins in Middleborough. So, well, anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. Well, I was very fortunate. I had 5 sisters. Very, very fortunate. And if you don't believe me, ask them. And I had twin sisters that did nothing but harass me from the time I woke up in the morning until I went to bed at night.
I can attest to that.
Oh, yeah. But all wore out after a while. You know?
Excuse me?
I said, yeah, everything worked out after a while.
But they used to
Well, I'll
lie
tell
a
you,
lot.
Huh? I don't know how my father put up with it. He had 5 daughters and a wife. And me.
You were the worst.
Well,
You were a handful.
once in a while.
Anyway. One other thing I wanted to mention. Soul Street and Prospect Road, there was a mill there. They called it California Mill. I don't know
Yeah.
if any of you people read about it, but
I
there was a
remember it.
box mill.
It was still
And
standing.
Dexter Fuller, he was born in where Godfrey Wickstein lived.
Right,
Dexter was born in that house, and Ernest, his father, worked at that mill. And I'll never forget, I think it was like 42, we had a hell of a thunderstorm, and the lightning hit that mill, and it was gone in about 2 hours. The floors were all oily and everything, burnt right up.
That's on
I remember my
Winnetoxet
father
Road?
taking me down there during that fire.
Was that the one on Winnetoxet Road?
No, right at the bottom of Soul Street,
Oh,
on
okay.
Prospect, right by the
Okay.
pond there. Right by that pond.
Yep.
Yep.
My father used to own one of the stores up here, and then he bought the other one, the country stores. So he told me, he said, life's gonna be easy for you now, Arnie. You ain't gonna do all that, right? Yeah, life was easy, all right. I got there at 6 in the morning and left at 6 at night. I was like 11 years old. So the day he sold it down the road, it was about, I don't know, 8 or 9 years later, he says, well, I'm gonna sell the store. He says, so if you want anything, just let me know. I said, yeah, I will. Can I tell you right now, Dad? And he said, yeah. I went to the front door and opened and walked out, and I said, see ya. And he said, wait a minute. Oh, yeah.
Wait a minute, I got one more thing before you get started. I know once you get started. But anyway, Parker's store, which is the ice cream store, was it was McDonough's store originally.
Right.
Right. The post
And the
office.
post office was in there, it was a
Yeah.
little tiny cubby hole. And my mother started working there in the early 50s. And I'll never forget it, was just a little, wasn't any bigger than this, a little
Yeah,
cubby hole
yeah,
there.
Little section.
Yeah, yeah, and then they built a new post office, she went over there, but anyway, she retired from the post office here.
Yeah.
She's still alive, by the way.
Yeah.
So,
Tell her how old.
I want to mention,
She's
his
100.
mother's still alive. She's 100,
100,
100.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. She's still
And she's-
kicking, still driving.
Still driving.
Just don't drive on.
Oh.
All right, you can go now.
Well, I was brought up on Maple Street and by Swedish grandparents. My mother had to work in Boston. And I remember my grandmother on her cooking and her bakery stuff. In fact, I got pictures of some of the cakes she made. And she was known in this area for her cakes, wedding cakes. In fact, one of her wedding cakes went to New York to Cardinal Spellman's niece's wedding.
Yeah,
And I was pretty proud of my grandmother.
yeah.
Also, they used to borrow a cow from Bricknell. and walk it up to Maple Street, and he'd use the cow when it was milking, and then when it stopped milking, he'd bring it back to Brickell.
It was a slow life in this town.
Oh,
when I
yeah.
grew up.
I could ride my bicycle around Plympton, and I knew everybody, every house.
Right.
Tell them about Gene Wright, which you were here because of the
Oh, did any,
tales of the,
I hope you people have read the books by Gene Wright.
yeah.
They're wonderful.
Yeah.
Tales of Old Plympton.
You live right up the street, don't you?
And I lived right up the street from Gene. He'd come down to my grandmother's and plow the garden with an old Fordson tractor. He charged my grandmother $20 to plow her gardens.
That was outrageous.
That was a lot.
Oh, you might.
Huh?
He had that, we worked for the highway department, my father's highway surveyor, and I was working for the highway department. I always got on Maple Street to Gene's house because he had a well,
Yeah.
a stone well, be hot in the hell, right? He had the bucket there, just drop it in and wind it up.
There was a dirt road back then.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
every road in Plympton, there was,
Center Street was dirt road, Upland Road was
Upland Road was
dirt
dirt.
road.
Yeah.
all of the stuff down.
Nobody
Ring-
used
Ring
Upland Road.
All of
Okay,
the
we
ones-
wouldn't ride a bike
Main
on
Street
it.
was a dirt road, all of them were dirt roads.
Yeah.
In
The
fact,
only,
Alan had a good story about his grandma. They didn't have any electricity on Maple Street, right, Alan?
No.
And your grandmother had to pay to have the poles
Yeah, I think so.
Put in,
all the way, had to pay for the electric.
To run the
come to
lines?
house. Yeah.
We used to have contests. My grandmother was great at making Swedish pancakes. I don't know what, the thin pancakes, they cover the whole plate. And I'd have my buddies down for lunch or to play. And we used to have a contest, so you could eat the most pancakes. Another thing that we did,
Sugar cookies, you used to sell.
oh, 4th of July, or Halloween, was it? I had an idea of, we used to ring the bell at the church and then run out. And the police couldn't catch us, you know, oh, you're caught us.
There was no
Wasn't any
cops those
There was
days.
no cops.
none.
So I had the idea that
They didn't want either.
my grandmother had friends from Brockton in a shoe factory, and I used to give my grandmother used spools of shoe stuff. So I tied a bunch of them together, made a long string, and I tied it to the bell,
The clapper.
the clapper, and I ran it on pulleys along the along the church roof. And then we got in the cemetery behind the church, and we'd ring the bell. The police would come, and they never could catch us. But they didn't know what was going on.
And the bell kept ringing.
And the bell kept ringing. Honestly. Another thing we used to do was, because the cranberry bogs all had outhouses. And we used to get the outhouses and bring them into the street and light them afire.
I don't remember that one.
It was a beautiful outhouse behind the Grange Hall. It was a nice one.
Where was it? Which one you talking
The
about?
one behind the Grange.
Oh,
We
yeah.
must have missed
And I
that
remember one time we got, that Bobby Bricknell, he was kind of a cocky little kid. You know what I mean? So
We
we got
picked
him,
on
we
him.
put him in there one day and tipped it over, so the door was down. He had to crawl out through the hole. He was a cocky kid, that boy.
Yeah, I remember he went to boot camp. Remember? He came back to Wesley's house and he lined us all up against the
one.
wall.
Oh, yeah.
He lined us all up against the
You
wall.
were the smallest.
And I was the smallest kid there, he never got through me.
I think the record for, at one point, I don't remember, a lot of this stuff that we talk about, we remember the stories and we remember bits and parts of it, but I do recall at one point that there was disappointment around town amongst my mothers and fathers, the other generation say, because the string got broken for 4th of July or Halloween, whichever one. There was one holiday, it was back house holiday. The other holiday was tires and brush and burning the road. and whatever the hell the back house one was, they broke the string at 16. And everybody went up to the coffee shop, and Warren's father owned the store up there in the coffee shop. And they went up there like this, looking across the green for the back house. Where's the back house? After 15 or 16 years, we ran out of them. And so there was no more up there, but
That's when they started stealing Minnie Barrett's goat.
yeah.
Started putting the goats up on the
And the
green.
goats. Yeah. But a lot of that stuff, like they say, like with the Churchville, one of the things we did, we went in and we said, hey, well, they're always come running in and we're running out the back, lock the door, then they can't run in the, you know, through the, so we locked the bell at the door, front door of the church. Then we went up and started ringing the bell, and they come flying up and everything, and it was all part of a game because it gave them something to do too, you know. And then so they come up to the, but sometimes they got upset. But see, all that we should have, right? The only thing they had to do in those days, if they got upset, it wasn't what sense chasing us. They just went home and called your parents, and that was worse than them chasing you because when you got home, it wasn't all, the fun was long gone.
Remember one morning when I got up, I was supposed to go up and feed water the animals because my father was up milking the cow and all that. And I said, I'm hungry, so I made myself some cereal. I sat down at the table. Dad came in with a bucket of milk, threw it on the counter and put a rag over it. And he looked at me, he said, huh, strange you're still here? And I said, why Dad? He said, I was hungry. He said, well, them cows are hungry up there too. He said, you got hands, right? And I said, yeah. He said, well, get your ass up there and use your hands. And I never forgot that. I feed the dog before I eat my toast.
How about you guys remember too being so smart, fooling my mother about jumping off the cliff and sliding down the bank?
Yeah.
There was a big sandbank behind our house down here on Main Street where those bogs are that the road goes down through.
Don't you?
And up Crescent Street was where we lived, and there's the old sand pit, and there was a nice clay sandbank. And it was, in those days, it was long, it's eroded way back. Well, it was great fun to go up there and on the top of the bank and jump off the bank, and you could slide right down in the sand and the clay, except we wasn't supposed to do it. So of course, the minute we wasn't supposed to do it, we'd be going up there as much as we could, but it was hard to hide because when you come back, your backside's all the way down, soaking wet, and you're covered with a coat of sand. So I can remember one day in particular, there was a whole crew of us, I think every one of us was there, and my mother says, there was a lot of noise up there, you boys didn't go near the sandbank, you didn't jump off the cliff, right? Because I'm not going to be hit. No, we wouldn't do that. She says, okay, turn around or go over there or something. There we go, every one of us got a big stripe down the back with the wet and the sand from sliding
Tell
down
another
there.
time we tortured your brother Brad.
The what?
The time we tortured your brother Brad, we put him in a bill out there.
Oh, yeah.
His head sticking out.
Good.
Hiding like this here and driving to the edge of that cliff.
Yeah.
He was screaming.
He wasn't happy.
He wasn't happy at all. He still mentioned that.
I got to tell him about Wally Stockman's garage, though, one thing. Wally Stockman had a junkyard garage down in North Plympton there. Who's in there now?
Yeah.
It was Albies for years.
Albies.
It's a motorcycle.
Motorcycle.
It's a
Motorcycle
car
place
shop
now. Anyway,
now.
Wally had a station there, he had pumps and
He was the
a
best.
cigarette machine, he had a cigarette machine, but he had a big junkyard out back there.
Pinball machine.
And you could go down there. I remember going down there with my '39 Chevy. And I said, Wally, you got a starter for my '39 Chevy? He says, let me think now. I think it was a '39 Chevy, way out back, he says, in the left-hand corner. Grab some tools out of my box
Get
and
a
go out there and
96
take it off. So you go out there and take it off.
Yeah.
Wally would let you work on your car right in the driveway there. And when you get done, he says, give me 50 cents. That was, that's unheard of today.
How much was gas?
Yeah, quarter.
12 cents?
No,
I pumped gas at my
Was
father.
that much?
15 cents
Yeah.
I
gas.
pumped gas uptown here. My
Yeah.
father, 10.9 for regular.
Huh?
10.9 for regular.
10.9 for regular.
What year was that?
11 cents.
Jesus Christ, I don't know, 10 years old.
Yeah, both these stores up in the center of town, it's amazing, side by side. Plympton, what we have, 800-900 people maybe at the time?
Yeah.
And there were two general stores
Two general
You know,
stores.
right side by side, with the
Yeah,
gas pump's
yeah,
up front and
yeah.
it's in the deck.
Yeah, different.
And,
yeah.
some of the characters that used to go in there were really,
Oh,
that's-
George
that's
and
what we-
Clarence.
yeah, go ahead,
George
start with the
Clarence
stories
Thomas.
about that.
George and Clarence Thomas would
The
sit
guy
in the
sitting
window.
by the wood stove up there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sitting
I
in the
remember
window.
one time, a woman in town, I won't use her name, she come in and she, bought some stuff off of us, and she handed me a $10 bill, right? So I gave a change for a $10 bill, and she said, no, well, that was a 20. I says, no, that wasn't a 20. My father came out and said, what's the problem? He said, I just cleaned the cash register out, right? So the next time she come in, she wanted a bottle of napkins, female napkins, and they were in brown paper bag. God forbid if you didn't have one, right? So I said, son of a bitch, you got me. So I just took the Kotex box and put it on the counter and said, here you go, Charlotte. My father come around the corner, he gave me a slap upside the head, right? Get out back there. So I go back and I go back afterwards, he says, you did the right thing.
Hey, tell me about the Gene Wright's at the well there, and then you did this house farm in Plymouth.
Yeah.
And we used to ride our bicycles up there and get a drink of water out of that well with what was his wife's name? I don't mean to ask you these hard questions, but
I know, I remodeled our house in Plymouth.
that's what I'm talking about. I don't want to, yeah. Years later, Gene Wright and his wife bought a place down in Plymouth, and growing up next door to him, and then some of it and all of us, like knowing them, they bought a house in Plympton, Plymouth. And Alan at the time had the business there, and we worked on that house.
Baseball too.
Huh?
Didn't Gene play
No.
Major League Baseball?
Louis Billings, he had the farm there on 106. And I was told that if Louis could pitch good enough to make the major leagues, but he got into the cow business and he
Cranberry bogs.
Yeah.
cranberry bog.
Gene played for the minor leagues though.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, Gene.
he was younger.
Yeah, he was young.
I batted against Louis Billings. I batted against Louis Billings.
We
He could
did
throw
too.
the ball.
Boy, he could
Boy,
throw-
You think so?
Yeah.
Oh,
I caught him.
You were ready to duck out of the way, let me tell you.
Yeah, I caught at a demonstration thing over in Halifax, like an opening thing. I was a catcher. They had him there just for the fun of it.
yeah, I remember that.
And they, he was just tossing. I don't know who was batting against him. I don't remember nothing. I remember being all excited because it was Louis Billings pitching, and I was gonna get to catch him. And it was only a few pitches, and after he got done, I was happy it was over because my hand was swelled up. I thought my hand was broken, and he wasn't even throwing the full ball. And the last pitch he threw, I'll never forget either, because he threw some kind of a curveball, like he called it or whatever. And after I ducked about 3 times going to catch it, it whacked me right here. That was the end of that out of the game. But it was always great fun to go up when we were at Alan's house, between the good food over there, right?
Oh,
And then riding our bikes up the street and go up, and wherever Gene Wright, wherever he was, he'd come around, he had time, he'd come around, he had the bucket on this dug well there, and let's have a drink of water, boys, and he'd bring up a drink of water, and we would have a drink of water with him, and people came from all around to get his corn and his strawberries.
Yeah.
That's what he was, I think he had other stuff there, didn't he? But his
Alan-
corn and his strawberries, wasn't that that was a big thing.
Ethel Wright was his wife. Ethel.
Alan shot a nice deer in Gene Wright's field.
Yeah, but that was at midnight.
I wouldn't know anything about
No,
that.
I thought somebody told me that, I don't know.
We went through that same scenario, didn't we?
Oh,
Hey, I gotta tell one story about your 2 cousins there. They used to come to your house and stay in the summertime.
oh,
Barbara Warren Smith.
oh,
Oh, and my mother, yeah, Sam,
Beautiful.
Judy.
2 beautiful girls.
oh.
Me and they'd come to Edson's house,
I'm in
stay a
love all
couple of
over
weeks
again.
there.
Yeah.
Let me tell it now. And me and Brian Walker, John Walker's brother,
Uh-oh.
get in the 39 Chevy and drive down to your mother's, and we'd sit out there, peep the horn, and your mother, Mitzi, she'd come out. What do you guys want? We just wanted to talk to the girls. She'd say, they can't come out. They can't come out. She wouldn't let them anywhere near us.
Oh, see? She knew the history.
They didn't come out anytime you guys were around either, did they?
No,
No, she was right there. No, nah.
One good story about Edson's house, which we all hung out there all the
Oh,
time.
jeez, I
We
know.
were in the Cub Scouts there, I think there was something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, I was feeling energetic one day, I come out the door and I'm looking at the gutter on the porch there and I jump up. And I'm swinging on the gutter and all of a sudden the gutter come down, oh jeez. And I'm looking around, nobody saw it, so I put the gutter right back, so stay there, right? Guess who comes out the door first? Guess what happened to the gutter?
he went like this, didn't he?
He's on the ground.
Yeah.
Your mother come flying out. Alan, Alan. And I'm laughing so hard. I thought I was going to die. And Mitzi's mad at me for laughing at him. But she didn't know the story.
Getting back to Gene Wright,
Gotta get out that
he had that farm on Maple Street, and Ethel, his wife, she hated it there. So he went down and he bought a house on, right in Plymouth, near Plymouth Center.
Samosas Street.
Sabasa Street, yeah.
Yeah.
And they hired me and my crew and my guys to remodel it, tear down the plaster and fix it all up. And we were there a good part of the
Long
summer.
time, boy.
A long time. And when I got all done, I asked, every week she'd write a check. And when I got all done, I asked her how much money she had spent. And she says, you know, I spent $19,000 and Gene is gonna kill me. I never heard any repercussions. But
When they bury you.
Gene Wright was quite a guy. You gotta read his books.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, like, one of the other things, the old days, we were all brought up on raw milk.
oh, yeah.
On the milk, right from the cows, you know, and when there was a farm, if you didn't have your own cows, like my family, we didn't. So I used to go, one of my chores, I had to go down to Kirsten's farm, it's right down the end of the street from me. And between me and I think my brother, he never did nothing, I had to do it all, but between me and my brother,
I remind Brad of that.
we'd walk down there. We'd have to walk down and we'd get the milk, and Peggy made butter, fantastic butter. And the milk would be in the jug, you know, when you brought it home in the bottle, and the cream on top. After they took the heavier stuff off to make the butter and all, and that cream was put aside for the other kinds of cooking. So that wasn't too bad, but then when the cows were fresh and when they weren't milking good, we had the hood milk van. And every time we changed over from one to the other, my mother would be having a fit because we wouldn't drink any milk because they were so different. We didn't like them.
Yeah.
And then when the Kirstens didn't have them sometimes, we'd go down, we had to walk down to where the Dennett School is now. Jim Dennett's mother, Leola, lived there, and she had a cow there, and we could get the milk there, but that was what, 2-3 times as far to walk and get down there. And again, I mean, you did it in the summer, did it in the winter, and all the time. And most times you couldn't go after the milk on your bicycle. If we had a basket, it was all bent to pieces. Well, the basket we used to have on the bicycle, it was all bent. So trying to put any milk in it to get home with wasn't going to work very well, so mostly you had to walk. But that was all like a simple way of life. There was no grades of milk. There was no go here or there to get it. You went to the different farms to get it.
But you know, you can notice during the summertime, on your cow, when you're milking it, in the summertime when you get back out in the grass, it took about 2 weeks before you could stop tasting that grass.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you one thing, I got one thing. Talking about going out on green grass, you didn't wanna stand behind a cow when they started.
When they come off hay,
Huh?
when they start eating grass instead of hay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had that right.
Yeah. I think
My
yeah.
Uncle Louis was
Did you
laughing
ever,
so hard.
Yeah.
I ate a little bit of it too.
Yeah.
That what happened to you?
Did you ever step in a
I
fresh
think-
cow flat barefoot?
I did it on purpose to horrify my cousins from Brockton. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
I can still hear that.
I don't know if you realize.
Did you ever
this.
catch an egg
I
right
probably
out
say,
of a
"Shut- shut up. We
There you go.
All right, go ahead. You
Oh, he's gonna let you talk.
Hey,
Go ahead.
he's gonna tap dance.
Oh, yeah,
Well, speaking of that,
the club used to have minstrel shows. And we all were in it. Of course, it's not
It's
allowed
against the
today
law.
because you wear blackface and so forth. But the club had a lot of fun doing our minstrel shows.
yes.
But I wanted to talk about Brook Street. Down by where Brook Street ends on High Street. Well, that's the old original path to Plympton from Plymouth.
Oh,
And it
Yep.
goes right by where I live now, and I get a picture of the house that is still there.
Right by the Catholic Church.
Yeah, this picture was taken in 1890. And that was the original path from where the Pilgrims and years later, like in 1640,
Probably the Indians.
yeah, original path to Plympton through Brook Street. And then it went up and down Upland Road. And at one time, there was 5 schoolhouses in Plympton.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
And when I was gonna build my house in the corner of Upland Road, I had to,
Yeah,
the town wanted to get rid of all the
it was school lots.
school lots.
Yeah.
So before I could get a mortgage, I had to pay $75 to clear the title so I could build my house. But there was 5 of them originally. One where my house was, one in Plympton Center, one in Silver Lake.
Good.
Clyde Justice.
Clyde Justice,
Like
old
Justice,
house,
Clyde
my
Justice.
father went to
across from
school.
Wally Stockman's,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
There was the other one.
There was one on the
There's one
green.
next to Clayton Britnell's farm.
Yeah, there was 5
Yeah.
of them, I know that.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right, too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're,
They
It was
all
on
didn't
18
go-
Mayflower Road. It was behind my old house, and they tore it down when my stepmother moved in.
there
Okay.
was one on the green, and I believe that is Gene Bellevue, the house down at Gene Bellevue's gun shop, the house out front.
Right.
Ah,
That came off the
they
green.
moved it.
Well, Tommy Bose's house
Yeah.
is the one that was on the green.
Oh, it is?
Yeah. They moved it down to, was that Main Street?
Yeah.
Tommy
Did they have
Bose.
5 teachers? 5 teachers?
They get it.
No, they didn't, they
Yeah.
weren't used all at once.
Go
was over a period of
Go around
time.
behind me and go up
Because,
there,
you know, you
I
had to
think
walk
I
to
think it's
school.
up in the hallway here.
And,
Go up to the library, desk over there.
Hey, Judy, wanna hold that a minute? Thank you.
where you going?
Because a lot of this stuff, like I say, we go back to, I don't know how many people there are in Plimpton now, really, but
2,900 roughly.
What is it?
2946 or something like that.
How many?
2946.
29, that's what I thought. I thought it was 28 or 29, and around the days we're talking about mainly was, we might have hit, what, 900, like, right? Like, for instance, I live on Upland Road now. The house I live in was built in 1958. And for all the years that, 57, I'm sorry, for all the years that we're talking about here now, when I lived on Crescent Street, there was 3 houses, 3 buildings on that whole road. Now, if you're familiar with Upland Road, where it cuts through from Crescent, goes across to Brook Street, it's, you know, there's basically all houses. There aren't even any vacant, say, lots on the street now because it's built up. But in those days, when you went up from Crescent Street, there was one house right on top of the hill on the right that most of you, anybody would know is where the Baileys were, Warren Bailey. That was the old Stevens house.
1951.
And then next to it was an abandoned building that belonged to the
Yeah,
Cape
that's
Cod
a long
Creamery
time.
Company where Eddie Vroom, where the Vrooms live now. And at some point next to that was where Manny and Minnie Barrows built their place. But then you went all the way up the street to almost to Dukesburg Road where the Hunters Camp is before there was another building on the street, and you know, and that was it. And that's how so many, that's how it was all over the place, all over town. But we could, like they've said, we could ride our bicycles from the time we were what, 7, 8, 9 years old. We just, if you wanted to go to somebody's house or go somewhere, You just, you just got on your bicycle and
You didn't have to
There
worry
was-
about any,
and nothing.
molesting children or anything else, because if they caught.
No helmet.
If they caught one guy molesting, like my father was,
we,
go ahead.
no, there was no helmets and no elbow, there was a lot of skinned knees and all that kind of thing, but there was no helmets and paddings or anything, and there was no, a lot of times you was, be home by a certain time, right?
Yeah.
But even when we were playing ball or in the winter when we were skating, it was basically off you went, you just told them where
Yeah.
where it was gonna be and everything, and then, no, okay.
How many times did Hazel Parker have to call to tell him, get Warren home?
Oh, every day. Listen, he couldn't tell time if he had 11 watches on him, but right out loud.
Your mother's
His
voice.
mother couldn't know, but.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember joining the scout, I forget the number of the scout troop we had, Boy Scout troop.
153.
What was it?
Something
53, 53.
53.
Yeah.
53.
I joined the scouts in 1948, and I remember the initiation thing was they put you in this bunker over here in the cemetery where they keep all the tools on. And they had a lock
Oh,
on
yeah.
it. They lock you in there for about an
Oh,
hour.
that's it, that's
Oh,
a
yeah.
I thought he was.
field trip to the Battleship Cove.
I can remember my father one time, he jumped out of the chair, and my older sister was walking around in their shots, you know? And he jumped out of the chair, went out in the kitchen, I heard him talk to my mother, right? Next thing I know, he don't come back in, okay? So all of a sudden, there's a commotion out in the front lawn. My father got this guy on the ground, pounded him to death. My mother comes out, Les, you're gonna kill him. He says, yeah, that's my intention. He wants to look at my daughter through a window. And that ended it. That's when Adams lived on Center Street, remember Adams?
Oh, yeah.
And he lived with his sisters.
Yep.
Yep.
You talking about Barbara Adams?
No.
Oh.
They had another Adams. Well, anyways, he went down Uri, and they come up and they suggested to the people down on Center Street that it would probably be wise move to put your house up. We did, so it was gone in 2 weeks. Now they don't even punish you, they send them to rehab, for Christ's sakes. What are they gonna do in rehab?
Now, that is, the scouting part, the scouts was always pretty big in town for a while. The Cub Scout program, especially the Boy Scouts seemed that they would have trouble, but it was the same thing with baseball. We had baseball sort of league and everything, and then some instruction when we was little league type age, but then when I got up to pony, then was pony league, and the older, it was more sandlot type of thing. It wasn't as structured, you know. We were in the league with Halifax when we were younger and everything, but scouting was important when.
Oh, yeah.
And when I was a Cub Scout, this deal about being able to go around and go everywhere, and Plympton was always a charitable town. One of those local women got polio, Paula Durant. Durant used to be right up across from where, right on the corner up here at the traffic light. And Les Durant had a garage next door. He was like a blacksmith. Remember Les and the blacksmith and
Used
the
to
man of
get
all
a,
trades. He could make anything and do anything.
Used to get the sticker on the car.
Oh, he used
Yeah.
to take the car for a ride. That's when you had mechanical brakes
Yeah.
to get a inspection sticker.
Yeah.
And I used to love to go up with my father because Les would drive that car down 58 as fast as go, and he'd slam on the brakes.
Yeah.
The seats would all come
I can remember rolling into his shop with the engine off.
Yeah. You didn't want the exhaust,
No,
so yeah.
he put the sticker on, and when I started up to leave, the muffler was kind of loud.
Yeah, it was a big hole in the
Oh,
muffler.
yeah.
That's what the muffler was.
I just made believe I didn't see him.
Well, we were Cub Scouts. Anyway, all of Durant got polio, and so to help out, one of the things our Cub Scout troop did, and I don't know if it was all over town. Again, it's hard to remember all the details, but the Cub Scout troop group, whatever that I was in, we had they gave us took coffee cans and taped the lid shut and put a slot in the top, and we went out, went house to house, collecting donations to help defray the medical expenses for her, to pay for the treatments for the polio. Because of course this, you know, a long, long time ago, and they didn't know much about it, and it was expensive, and in those days, it was expensive anyway. And that's the way it was. There's these little rugrats going around town with jars, you know, collecting money, and I don't know if they called people ahead and said, we'll be in your neighborhood to this day. I don't remember getting a ride anywhere. I remember not wanting to go a few days, and my mother handed me the jug and pointing, you know, go, and all that kind of thing. And right up through the years, I think you all know and realize and understanding that in different ways, that Plympton's always been a charitable town, helpful town over the years and everything. And with all the things there are to do today, I'm sure it still is as much as that, you know.
Them pictures there.
I want to mention that that man that was killed in the storm here a few weeks ago, a man, I think it was Groom, he donated a Ted Williams rifle to the club to raffle it, and the gun runner's gun shop in Middleborough donated a scope to put on it, and they're selling chances on that gun at the club, and all the money is going to go to that family of the man that got killed. I wanted that to mention that.
There's a lot of different things like that, the different groups and organizations.
Clubs done a lot of things. I know a lot of people don't
But
like
your
the
mother
club.
was right behind it. Your mother was good there.
Yeah, but it was, a lot of times it just took somebody to get something started, and then say something about it. And I think that probably you folks probably know a lot of things that go on like that right now in Plympton today that, you know, that I wouldn't necessarily know about, but just that you know that it started a long time ago. And I think it's in
Plympton was a pretty quiet town, and it was a cattle town. It was
Yeah.
a milk town.
Dairy farms, Clayton Britnell,
Yeah,
N.A. Sherman,
Yeah.
Russell Kirsted, Louis Billings. There was a lot of dairy farms in
Oh, yeah.
Plympton.
N.A.
So there was
Sherman.
plenty of work for kids.
Yeah.
On the bogs or on the dairy farms, there was always jobs for you.
Yeah, we worked on the bog, on these cranberry bogs a lot. That was quite an experience too,
My
wasn't it?
father would let me
Scooping
skip
and
school for cranberry season.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make some money.
Yeah.
He'd take a vacation,
Yeah.
pick berries.
Yeah.
Yeah, a
The
lot of
thing
people
was, in
did.
those days, they had to flood the bogs if you had a frost, and by the time the bog dried
Dried
out,
out.
the next day it was noontime.
Oh, that was wicked sometimes, wasn't
Yeah.
it? Waiting, and
It was a
you'd
big
wait the
job.
whole time.
He used to work for Frankie Johnson,
Yeah,
and his wife Thelma used to put the X on the box after you fill it, so.
yeah. And then Peter,
Once in
remember?
a while, we'd put some vines in the bottom of the box.
You paid the price, so if you got caught, didn't you?
That's when you were getting paid by the box.
Yeah.
But Louis
40
Billings,
Oh,
Louis
no,
Billings
no.
wouldn't pay by the
My
box.
uncle was
Because
by
he
the
didn't
hour.
want his bog tore up.
That's the only
Why
job
did
I
it go
ever
nice and easy
quit
with
and
the
walked off the job in my life. And never went back. It was weeding.
Your Uncle Louis?
Yeah, weeding cranberry bog. That,
Oh, yeah.
that was it. I couldn't do
That was a
that.
normal job, wasn't
You
Hot.
get paid 45 cents a box,
Yeah. 50 if you carried it
and
off.
5 cents more if you carried it off.
Uh,
Yeah.
By the time you carried it off, you could pick 3 more boxes. So it didn't take a brain surgeon to figure out, leave it there.
But some of those guys used to stand up. They'd
Oh, wait.
stand up and they'd tear the bog
we,
off to pieces.
we went on strike one time in Carver that nobody would pick because
No.
it was a lousy picket.
Yeah.
So they had to put us in a truck and take us to a
No, the
good
bottom,
bog.
yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
There was a woman that lived on Upland Road, a colored woman, nice woman,
Mini barrels.
mini barrel. She only had, what, she only
One
had
leg,
one
there's
leg,
one pig leg.
one peg leg.
Yeah.
And boy, could she pick cranberries.
Yeah.
I couldn't keep up with her.
No,
She fell in the ditch a lot too.
Yeah, she did.
Poor thing, and she'd laugh like hell. She
She'd
got
be
to walk
stuck and
across
she'd
a
be
little
laughing, yeah.
plank about this big.
Yeah.
And here she, poor thing, with her one leg and
she'd be stuck and she'd be
they pulled
laughing.
Minnie out of the ditch again.
Everybody
Everybody'd be running around like mad to get her out, she'd be laughing.
She come by walking uptown.
Oh, I remember that.
Ah,
She gave us help.
She was staring at, we were staring at her, she
Yes.
said, what are you staring at? You wanna look at this wooden
Yeah,
leg?
she said, want me to take it off and show it to you?
Yeah, exactly what she said.
I gotta tell this one story. The, Charlie Northrop lived down across from Christine, where you work there at Gracie's. It was an old house there now, it's all fixed up. And Charlie, I used to hang around with Charlie quite a bit. He was a good ball player, good pitcher. And so I used to hang around down his house a little bit. And his mother's name was Sadie.
She
They
was
had a-
Indian too.
Huh?
She was Indian.
Yeah, Sadie.
Yeah.
And they had a cow, and she did all the milking. And I'll never forget, I was down there one day, and she's out there milking the cow, and she's got her head right against the cow, she's going at it. She's got a cigarette in her mouth. Pretty soon the ashes fall off the cigarette right into the milk bucket. She keeps going. Took the bucket in the house, put it in the refrigerator. Everything was good.
While he's on the subject of the Northrops, it was a hot spring day, and we were sitting in this elementary school here, and somebody called the principal, Mrs. Northrop's pigs are loose.
Oh, yeah?
Sent some boys down to get the pigs. So Warren and I, we volunteered.
Instantly.
And we go down there, and it was really neat. We had spring fever, I
Yeah.
think. And we look at each other, so we chased the pigs into the woods more. It took us all day. We come back in the afternoon with the pigs, and we didn't have to go back to school. It was a good day.
That was a great day.
That's a good one.
He and I sat in this cemetery when our mother and father had sent us to Sunday school. And it was one of those kind of days, and we're sitting there, and instead of going to church, we sat on the other side of the wall over here. And we got the offering money, and then we went up to the store and got some ice cream. Right, Mark?
Yeah.
Another time, George Soule, he lived on the green. And anytime it snowed hard, we'd run around trying to make money, try to beat the other guy to the house to
Yeah, you had to.
dig the snow. Well, we had to dig a path across the whole green.
Yeah,
What the heck were we, 10 years old, 12
yeah,
years old?
10 years the most.
So we dug a trench for old George, and the son of a gun stiffed us. He only paid us for half what it was worth. So on the way out, Warren and I kind of came in the path there.
And my father
And his father was watching.
from the country store. And he said, nice job, boys. Now go dig this out of the
That
woods out
cheap son of a gun.
So we had to go dig it out again.
Down on the corner here, that guy that has all the Volkswagens, and part of the building burnt down, and then he built a new, that was, two women owned it, and they called it the Brown Barn.
Yeah.
It was a restaurant.
Yeah.
And they hired my grandmother to do the smorgasbord.
Yep.
And she worked there a lot. And when she got all done, she was owed $1,500. And they never paid her.
They never paid it? No
Never
kidding, I never heard that.
My sister Hazel got married in the Brown Mountain.
It was the corral before it was the brown.
The corral.
Russell Doyle.
The Doyles.
Yeah, it was-
Yeah.
Doyle.
Oh, the
That's
corral,
all
that
I
was the name of it. I remember the Doyles, I couldn't remember the name of the.
Darlene Doyle.
Yep,
Darlene.
okay.
Was at your house recently, what, like
Yeah.
a year ago?
Yeah.
Called me up
Yep.
at the house. You
Really?
know that- Yeah. And she goes, you don't, this is Darlene Doyle, do you remember me? That's first grade. And I hadn't seen her since because she says, you were my first boyfriend. And I said, yeah, I remember you. And I almost fell on the floor.
So what was the outcome?
We're still exchanging phone numbers.
Those girls, those sisters were all, names were all started
Yep.
with D.
Denise.
Darlene, Diane,
Denise.
Denise,
Yeah.
yeah,
And her son's name was,
Russell.
there you go.
And they, it
Darryl?
was the corral.
Oh.
It was the corral when they opened it. Yeah.
I got a little picture here. Nobody can guess who it is, but my sister over there could probably tell. But this ended up in the yearbook when I graduated. And it was my stupid cousin Jeanette and I, when we were, that's probably around 1941, 42. And in the Silver Lake, see, we, like Darrell was saying, in Plympton, we went grammar school here through the 6th grade, and we were two classes to a room. You remember that?
Yeah.
First and second, one room, and all the teachers I had were the same, and they didn't hold back with their
Oh, no.
Not that we didn't deserve it.
I got a picture, I got a picture of my, the cake that went to New York. My grandma passed it around.
This is the cake that went to New York. Pass it on there.
Hey, David, we weren't ready to go to Plymouth Junior High School.
No.
We knew nothing about it.
Yeah.
We sat in the same desk over here all day long.
Yeah.
You get down to Plymouth,
Yeah.
you had to change rooms for
Oh,
every
yeah.
class, you had a
Oh, yeah.
homeroom. We weren't ready for that.
And we, I don't know how you read it, but I wasn't that accepted by the other guys down there.
No, neither would
And I had to get in a fight.
There is a one
yeah.
thing
Accepted.
Oh, yeah,
artificial
we
on
were all
that
country
cake.
bumpkins
It's
here.
all crust,
Yeah.
the whole
I'm gonna
cake.
share the recipe.
And thank God I got a good lucky pumpkin in it. That
She
day on,
make
it was,
the fences on wax paper,
it was
and
kind of scary.
it would
actually.
dry.
It was.
She'd
It
peel
was
it off.
very scary.
Well, you
going.
rode on the bus for 2 hours before you get
If you
there.
wanted to play sports in Plymouth, you had to figure your way home. We used to take the Brockton and Plymouth bus to Wally
Yeah, but it only
Stockman
went as far
and
as,
then walk home.
it only went to the corner down there in Kingston. Then you had to walk all the way down 106.
Yeah.
That bus turned around right there, that drugstore.
Yeah, but they-
The tourist drugstore.
Tourist corner, but there was.
I think most of us are in that
We used to take a
picture.
red bus that went to Brockton, and you would stop would stop at Wally Stockman's there, and get off there and walk home from there. It was express, there was like twice a day, was all, that it went. The other routes, the other buses did what you're talking about. They went, Kingston turned around and
When I was
everything.
playing baseball, I had to find my own way home. I had to hitchhike
Oh,
home.
yeah.
And,
That picture they're looking at was, the commander of the ship is from Plympton originally. It's a Sherman farm, that's Commander Sherman.
Commander Sherman, yeah.
Zach
And that picture
used to
was,
pick me up. He loved baseball.
and that
He
ship
used
was
to
World
talk
War
about
II, it was
baseball all the
damaged.
time.
It was hit by a kamikaze,
Yeah.
yep,
Back
on
in-
Newport. And he invited all the scouts, we were allowed to go all over that thing too.
Now, this is almost as many people as used to go to town meeting. Back in the original town meetings were held with the
Oh, that was-
historical
Yeah.
building.
We used to go just to watch the show.
Yeah. I went to my first town meeting when I was 9 years old. My father was a moderator, so that was a part of it and everything, but from there on, I went every year.
I just thought of one of the characters in town, too, the brick
Francis
house.
Blanchard,
No, the brick house, what was that?
Harold
guy?
Morton.
No, he was Scotch.
McGinnis,
He had a Scotch accent.
McGinnis.
McGinnis.
Dennis.
He'd go to the town meetings. At one town meeting, he says, raises his hand and they recognize, he stood up. You know, he said, I've been coming to this town meeting quite a while now. And there's been a crack in the wall. This is the old town hall.
Oh, yeah.
There's been a crack in the wall and there's about as big as a crack in my ass now. He says, I've been coming here, when they gonna fix that crack?
Yeah, they used to get going, but his father was a great one, Warren's father was a great one. He was the highway surveyor. He'd get things going, and Francis Blanchard was taking care of mowing and everything. And Francis Blanchard, I don't think anybody's ever seen anybody any tighter than him. He rubbed nickels, finnies, and everything. He was awful. But he wanted to get money to put fertilizer on the green and to keep us off of there from playing football and stuff, because we'd make it, you'd travel it down. Well, he kept saying he wanted to put natural fertilizer on there. He didn't want to buy bagged fertilizer. Well, Warren's father wouldn't leave that big. What do you mean natural fertilizer? Well, Francis got a little redder and he stumbled and me, used to talk through his nose, and he says, the real stuff they put on. He says, you know well what I mean. Then they go back to lesson say, well, geez, I don't understand. That natural fertilizer, he's trying to get him to say it. Right? Francis got as far as going, cow natural stuff. You know damn well what I need, Les Parker, shut up. And then they voted it.
Them trees that are in the green now,
Yeah.
I plan to dig hold of it for every one of them.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Oh, the new ones in front?
Yeah, they were only that big.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And I said to my father, I said, who do I send the bill to? He says, me.
Well, a great time. You
You
gotta-
ain't getting paid.
Remember George and Clarence?
Sure.
Thomas,
George and Clarence, like Darrell was talking earlier,
Yeah.
one had a cob pipe. And
Yeah.
they had,
They lived on
somebody in
Montana
the
Street.
family was kind of famous in the Civil War,
yeah.
Yeah,
They
right?
were.
yeah.
I don't know.
And they talk about it. But anyway, I think it would be George or whoever, all of a sudden he kind of lean and there'd be a little noise. And the other one say, "You just step on a frog?" You remember that?
Oh, they did.
And what was it, Cliff Wright, he'd be leaning on the stove there, and
Yeah.
he'd start.
Prin Bradford or Jim Peck.
Oh, God. Well, he used to
How
get
about
Jim mad.
Jim Peck and Eddie White?
No, boy, that
Jim
was,
Peck,
that
that used to be a show in itself. That was a lot of fun.
yeah, these two guys did not get along well.
Oh, you wanna talk, oh,
My mother
They
had
got
a
going
snack bar
politics.
up here.
they were dangerous.
They would sit apart from each other and just glare at each other. Unbelievable.
Yeah, when I got out of service, I was working at the garage up here for Charlie Brackett.
Yeah.
And they'd come over there, both of them. And they'd just argue, walk around the garage and they'd argue and scream at each other. What a pair.
They were too.
Anyway, I gotta tell you,
Bill Temple,
Bill
Bill,
Temple.
Oh,
Bill
yeah.
Templin.
Yeah,
Bill Temple.
Bill
Yeah.
Templin, yeah. He was quite a guy.
He had a brand new 41 Ford, I think it was. Remember, he used to pull into the store up here, and he'd go around and he'd pull in to get a tonic, Coke or something. And
We
he'd
called
go
it
around
tonic
and
back
lock
then.
each door on that car individually.
Oh, yeah.
He'd go in,
Yeah,
get a bottle of Coke out of the
What'd you
thing.
say?
Harold Morton,
yeah, that's Harold.
Harold Morton.
That was Harold Morton.
Yeah, Harold Morton.
No, you said Bill Temple.
Oh, is she talking about Bill Templin?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He agreed, when we moved into town, he was the
Yeah.
one that greeted us. As a matter, we invited him for Thanksgiving dinner,
Oh, yeah,
and he bought a tricycle for my oldest son.
really?
I
Bill
love
Templin, yeah.
He was our closest neighbor, and he was old, my husband thought it was his mentor.
Oh, yeah. Was he was born in Germany, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you remember the Memorial Day? He used to
Yeah.
stack the rifles. He knew how to take all the rifles and, so they'd all stand in a cluster.
No,
Right.
really?
You don't
No, I
remember
don't
that? Right in
remember
front
that.
of the church, he,
No.
Bill
I don't remember
Temple,
that.
they did a lot of caning on chairs too.
Yeah.
yeah.
Didn't he
His
have a
wife was
sign out
Indian.
there?
His
Yeah.
wife was
Yeah.
an Indian.
Huh?
His wife was
Yeah.
Indian.
Yeah. But anyway, getting back to Harold Martin, remember that new Ford he had?
Oh.
If he got out of it, he'd lock all four doors
Oh, yeah.
individually. Then he'd go
Nobody
back
said-
out and
nobody
unlock
said to you.
them. No,
I made a mistake
I
of
can't say
asking
that
him why
here.
he did that.
Yeah, he said-
I said, Harold,
Yeah.
why do you do that? Just to make little boys like you ask questions. He said, so I go home, and about a half an hour later, somebody's knocking on the door. My mother answers the door, and it's Harold. He says, I want to apologize to David. Because I'm hiding. He's gonna kill me. He shot at Ellen and I was 22,
He was 22 at 4th of
4th
July.
of July.
Yeah, I was on the floor in the back seat.
The bullets flying out.
We could hear it.
Is the story there?
Well, if you guys hadn't tried to tip his house over, he probably would have left you alone.
My father always said, the family was sent, the father was very wealthy,
In
Yeah,
the
yeah.
something to do with
They
mushrooms.
sent him to
Mushroom
Plympton to
business.
get him
Yeah.
out of their way.
And he put him down here in quiet little Plympton.
What
He
about
stayed
it?
in Boston, he never came down.
No,
Oh, and Gladys, the sister,
Yeah.
glad it's ring.
shoot, yeah. She had a little son that needed
Donald,
attention. And
he did.
one day, it was here at the library. And she was going to the library, and Donnie, his name was Donnie.
Yeah.
She said, Donnie, come here. He took off, ran across the baseball field and everything. She said, will you go get him for me? And if he won't come, drag him. So I went out there, and he wouldn't come, and I dragged him all the way back. He's kicking and thrashing. When I got here, she was mad at me for dragging a kid across the field. I said, you told me to.
Yeah,
You remember that picture?
You ain't getting into it good when you get into it with them.
I used to deliver the old Colony Memorial, and I'd go in there Thursday, and it was only on Thursdays. And Donald must have been like 9 or 10 years old, and he'd be sitting on the potty chair in the kitchen,
Yeah.
there.
Yeah,
Good God, I couldn't believe it.
He'd come
The
in
last
there.
time I saw Donald, he was running down Prospect Road with no clothes on, and his father was chasing him.
Oh,
Yeah, and that was it. They put him somewhere.
Carol, you know how my father punished me when I wasn't doing good in math, in English?
Should we
Oh,
talk about it?
Yeah. You know what we got to do to me?
But,
have Gladys teach it?
Deranged.
oh,
And the kid, and I was there for 2 months, every night for 2 months, and that kid, you know, I can't stand him.
Don't you remember him coming in the store? I want a Coca-Cola. He'd say, I want a Coca-Cola. Nobody paying attention. He keeps saying it. Finally, the father would buy him a
So
Coke.
when I get out of that, out of that tutoring deal, I never got a lower mark than D in English. And I said, I can't go through this again.
how the hell did she tutor you?
I think we're gonna wind it up.
She taught?
Good idea.
She was a school teacher.
Good.
Yeah, she was a woman.
you
Oh,
know.
yeah.
Hey,
Well, thank you,
okay.
guys.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Appreciate
you.
you all coming.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
thank you
everybody.
very much.
Thank you very much.
Nice of you to put up with us.
Should have talked to him.